What's more dangerous than the streets that are bleeding, a home that is broken, and a world that never cares if you live or die? Today, we're stepping back into Boyz n the Hood 1991, a film that wasn't just a story, it was a reality check. It exposed the struggles of growing up black in America, where every choice could mean making it out or getting buried before your time. It showed mothers clinging to hope, fathers raising men, and friends riding for each other. Every second captured the laughter, the heartbreak, and the weight of survival in a world that never played fair. What do you do when the world expects you to follow a script, but you know damn well you were meant to write your own? Cuba Gooding Jr., just 23 at the time, brought Trey Styles to life with an ease that made him impossible to ignore. Easygoing, well-mannered, and the kind of guy who could crack a joke with the fellas 1 minute and charm a girl with respect the next, he was the classic nice guy without ever being weak. Independent-minded but never arrogant, Trey moved through life with a quiet confidence. Never desperate for approval, never afraid to check his friends when they needed it. He loved a good laugh, a backyard barbecue, the kind of moments where life felt simple. But simple didn't mean blind. He saw everything. The good, the bad, the inevitable, and when that line between survival and destruction blurred, he had to make a choice, follow the crowd, or listen to the man who raised him right. What do you do when the streets raise you better than your own mother? Ice Cube was just 21, but when he stepped into Darrin Doughboy Baker's shoes, he didn't just act. He lived it. A product of his environment, but never a victim, he carried the weight of the world on his shoulders and still walked with a swagger that said, "Try me." Doughboy wasn't heartless, far from it. He had love, loyalty, and a sharp wit that could have you laughing 1 second and thinking twice the next. But respect, that wasn't given, it was taken. He knew how the streets worked, understood that survival meant making peace with the inevitable. But deep down, behind the tough exterior and the cold stares, there was a man who had been left behind too many times to count. And when the world never gives you a fair shot, you learn real quick, mercy is a luxury you can't afford. How do you outrun a destiny that was written for you before you could even walk? Morris Chestnut was just 22 when he became Ricky Baker, a star running back for Crenshaw High School, recruited by University of Southern California, the golden boy everyone believed in. He was the one who could make it out, the proof that talent and hard work could break the cycle. At home, he had his mother Brenda, his girlfriend Shanice, and their toddler son, his future waiting for him. But Ricky was more than an athlete. He was a young man balancing hope and reality, knowing one wrong step could cost him everything. In a world where survival wasn't promised, he tried to play by the rules. But the streets don't care about scholarships. Potential alone can't outrun fate. His story wasn't just tragic, it was proof that even the ones who dream the biggest can still be taken too soon. What's the point of giving a son the world if he doesn't know how to survive in it? At just 29 years old, Laurence Fishburne stepped into the role of Jason "Furious" Styles Baker, a father to Trey Styles, carrying the wisdom, the wounds, and the weight of generations, like he had walked that road long before. A father first, a soldier second. His battleground wasn't the streets, it was the mind. He had seen the trap, the cycle that swallowed black men whole, and he refused to let his son become another casualty. His voice was calm, but his words hit like a hammer. Truths too sharp to ignore, too real to run from. He didn't sugarcoat survival because the world wouldn't. Discipline, respect, knowledge, those were the weapons he armed his son with because fists and guns only won battles. The real war was bigger. He wasn't just raising a boy, he was trying to unlearn generations of damage, to rewrite the story before it ended the same way it always did. But no matter how much he taught, one truth remained. A father can only lead the way. The son has to choose to follow. What kind of mother sends her son away knowing it's the only way to save him? Angela Bassett was 32, but in Reva Styles, she carried the weight of every black mother who's ever had to make an impossible choice. She had done everything right, worked hard, got her education, fought for a future. But the world doesn't play fair. The streets don't care how much you love your child. and no matter how fiercely she held on, love alone wouldn't be enough to keep her son safe. So she made the hardest decision a mother could make, sending him to his father, not because she wanted to, but because she had to. A mother's love could nurture, but it couldn't teach a boy how to survive in a world built to break him. It wasn't abandonment, it was sacrifice. Because when you're raising a black son, you don't get the luxury of hope. You have to choose between holding on and letting go before the streets make that choice for you. What's the point of dreaming of tomorrow when the streets can steal everything today? Nia Long was just 20, but she embodied Brandi with a quiet strength. Wise beyond her years, yet still carrying the innocence of a girl who dared to hope. She was more than just book smart. She understood the streets, the unspoken rules, the weight of expectations. She walked with purpose, head held high, refusing to let her zip code define her future. Education was her way out, but survival was its own lesson, one that taught her love could be just as dangerous as the streets. She was torn between the heart that kept her rooted and the mind that told her to run. In a world where too many dreams never made it past the block, Brandi had to believe she could be more, but no matter how far she went, part of her would always be left behind. What happens to the girl who knows the game better than the players? Regina King was just 20, but she breathed life into Shalika with effortless swagger. The girl who could clown with the fellas, talk her shit, and hold her own without missing a beat. She wasn't soft, not in a world that ate softness alive. She cracked jokes, sipped her 40, and saw through every lie, every fake flex. But beneath the loud laughs and slick comebacks, she knew the truth. Being one of the boys didn't mean being one of them. She could talk tough, move tough, but at the end of the day, she was still a girl in a world that didn't love girls like her back. No dreams were promised, no futures guaranteed. So she did what she could, laughed hard, lived fast, and made damn sure no one ever played her for a fool. How do you love one child like he's your salvation and curse the other like he's your sin? Tyra Ferrell was 29, but she stepped into Mrs. Baker like she had spent a lifetime carrying her own brokenness. She was a mother, but not the kind they put on greeting cards. She poured all her love into Ricky, her golden child, her way out, the son she believed would save her from the streets. College-bound, football star, her pride. But Doughboy? He was the weight she never wanted to carry, a reminder of a man she despised, a life she couldn't escape. She called him worthless before the world ever had a chance to. Maybe she thought she was doing right. Maybe she thought the world would be kinder if she played God in her own house. But wounds like that don't heal, and when the streets come to collect, does a mother like her ever wonder if she pulled the trigger first? What's the point of having dreams if the world is set on taking them away? At just 11 years old, Donovan McCrary brought young Ricky Baker to life, a kid with talent, hope, and a future that felt just within reach. He was the younger brother of Darrin Doughboy Baker, growing up side by side but walking two different paths. Ricky had the gift of football, the kind that could lead to something bigger, something better. His mother Brenda pinned her hopes on him, believing he'd be the one to make it out. He was a childhood friend to Trey Styles and Chris, boys navigating the same streets, holding on to dreams that felt fragile in a world that never played fair. Ricky wanted more, but in a place where survival came before success, even a kid with a bright future could find himself running out of time. Some dreams get you out, others get left behind. What's the price of making it out when the ones you love get left behind? At just 11 years old, Desi Arnez Hines II stepped into the shoes of a boy caught between two worlds. Trey Styles wasn't just another kid on the block, he was being raised to think different, to move different, to survive different. He had his mother, Reva, who loved him but knew love alone wouldn't be enough, so she sent him to his father, furious, a man determined to keep his son from becoming another statistic. Trey had friends, Ricky, Doughboy, Chris, but their struggles weren't his to carry, no matter how much he cared. He was learning young that being smart wasn't enough, that doing right didn't always mean staying safe, that the world didn't hand out second chances, He wanted more than the streets, but the streets don't let go easy. And as he grew, the question was never if they'd test him, but when. What kind of man spends his whole life earning fear instead of respect? Raymond D. Turner was 30, but he wore Ferris like a man who had been in the game too long to know anything else. An OG of the Crenshaw Mafia gangsters, he had put in the years, the blood, the bodies. He wasn't just in the streets, he was the streets. He moved with a kind of quiet authority that made people cross the road when they saw him coming. He had nothing to prove, yet he never let a slight go unanswered. Power in his world wasn't about money, it was about fear, control, making sure no one forgot who he was. And when it came time to send a message, he didn't hesitate, because in his mind there was no right or wrong, only strength and weakness. But when the dust settles and the bodies drop, does a man like Ferris ever stop to count the souls he took, or just the stripes he earned? How do you stay out of trouble when trouble is the only thing that finds you? At just 12 years old, Baha Jackson brought young Darrin Doughboy Baker to life, a kid already learning the hard truths of the streets. Growing up in South Central, he knew survival meant more than just watching your back. It meant knowing the game before it played you. He was tough, quick with his words, and carried that edge of a boy who'd already seen too much. But when a simple trip to the store ended in handcuffs, it was clear, some kids never got the benefit of the doubt. The world had already decided his path long before he had a chance to choose it. And by the time he came back 7 years later, the damage had already been done. Because in a place where freedom is just an illusion, sometimes your future is stolen before you even know what to do with it. What's the price of survival when you're just trying to get by? Dedrick D. Gobert was just 20 years old when he brought Dookie to life. A laid-back presence in a world where survival meant staying sharp. Always posted up with his boys, pacifier in his mouth like it was armor against the chaos. He wasn't the loudest, the toughest, or the most feared. But he was there, watching, laughing, living, until the streets decided who stayed and who didn't. In a place where every decision could be your last, Dookie moved like he had all the time in the world. Maybe that's why people followed the trend, why they picked up pacifiers like he did, as if sucking on plastic could keep reality from sinking in. But nothing could block out the truth, not in a place where bullets don't need names and tomorrow is never promised. Some make it out, some don't, and some just exist. Until they don't. What's worse than surviving the streets, only to realize they've still taken a piece of you? Redge Green was just 17 years old when he played Chris, a young man forced to navigate a world that never gave second chances. Paralyzed from the waist down by a stray bullet, Chris wasn't just another statistic. He was proof that in these streets, danger didn't discriminate. But even in a wheelchair, he never lost his pride, his loyalty, or his ability to laugh through the pain. While others ran the block, he held his own, never letting the world pity him. His strength wasn't in his legs. It was in his spirit, in the way he kept pushing forward when the hood had already counted him out. He was the kind of friend who kept it real, no matter what. And in a world where survival meant everything, Chris showed that resilience wasn't just about standing, it was about never folding. And just like that, we've come to the end of our journey through Boyz n the Hood, a film that wasn't just a story, it was a reality for so many. The faces may have changed over time, but the message, still as powerful as ever. If this walk down memory lane hit home, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay true, stay strong, and never forget, some legacies live forever.